Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, like you've never heard it before.
This story isn't told to you by the one Dragonborn that masters all, but told to you through the eyes of many different characters.
From soldiers in the Civil War seeking peace and order,
to seeking freedom and to remove the weakness from her lands.
From those cursed by the night, seeking to be the vigil in the darkness.
To warriors seeking honor, glory, and companionship.
To a shapeshifter and worshipper of the Daedra who seeks to live a life as a warrior.
To a mage seeking power and the arcane knowledge of Aetherius.
To assassins seeking fear and bringing the cold touch of Sithis.
To thieves seeking wealth beyond measure.
We all hope you enjoy
this story
of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Chapter 36, The Break of Dawn. I had much of my free time learning how to use the lute, and I got pretty good at it. But Dean Gerard Germain had heard of my other travels and had asked me to find him Riorn's drum. And I accepted. I was getting bored again. While learning instruments here at the college, I seemed to be an instrument of the Dean's. I would put on my armor once more and travel. This time to Falkreath Hold, where this Riorn's drum is located, and it's surrounded by a pine forest. Should be a beautiful spot to explore. With winter well on its way, I should explore more of Skyrim before it's blanketed in snow. It's already starting to get really cold. Heading south towards Cyrodiil should heat up a little. I feel like it's not long before I leave Solitude. Just before the start of sun's dusk, I'll head to Cyrodiil. At least the winters there don't cover everything in snow. I've got less than just a month before I leave Skyrim. I made it into Whiterun. It was already starting to feel warmer. The golden plains of Whiterun have always felt heated, but also brisky. In just a month, this place will be covered in snow. How good would it have been to grow up in a farming community like this? Kids to play with, other families? Would have been nice.
You look like you've seen your share of adventure. I envy you that. In fact, maybe you can help me with something. I want to be an adventurer like you. My father says I can't. He says he needs me to stay here and work the farm. And even if he did let me be an adventurer, we couldn't afford to buy armor. His name is Meralki, and he's the innkeeper here. I hope you could change his mind. Thank you. I can't stand the thought of being trapped in this village for the rest of my days.
While leaving, I was asked by a stranger to help him. To help convince his dad to let him adventure Skyrim. Who better to ask than another young Nord adventuring Skyrim? I understood what he wanted. To leave home and make a mark out on the world. So I decided to help. It's a dangerous life, but it's one of our choosing. And you're never more alive when you're risking it all.
If you need a meal or room, I've got both. I only take real coin here. No handouts and no bartering. My son? Eric? What about him? Did something happen? Is he all right? But the world is a dangerous place. Eric has no idea what he's getting himself into. What's more, he's got no armor. I'll have to save up the money for it.
I decided to give him the gold. I had gold to spare, and if I could help this Eric out, I would, since I understood him better than anybody.
You would give your own coin to help my son? I'm moved by your compassion. Your kind deed will not go unrewarded, my friend. Tell Eric I've changed my mind and will visit Whiterun soon to fit him for armor.
Did you have any luck talking to my father? I can't thank you enough, friend. I hope you'll come back to Rorikstead soon and pay me a visit. Maybe we can swap stories about our adventures over a mug of ale at the inn.
I hope all goes well for Eric. I hope one day I'll hear stories of his adventures around Skyrim. Maybe we'll meet on the roads and make some stories together. On the road, I was distracted by the light coming off an iron helmet like mine. I wanted to check it out. It was a grave. Someone's resting spot. It had a tombstone with carvings on it. Might have a name of the fallen and their story. Her name was Revolia, and she was killed by vampires. Those monsters. Wait up? Her lover? Zarita? Wasn't that woman with Cecilia? That was her. That's the story she told me. This was her love that was killed by those bloodsuckers. This is why she hunts those monsters. I saw a woman that looked like a barbarian. She looked like she had traveled the roads. I might hire her to escort me to this drum, so I don't have the same problem I had with Stony Creek. I've got gold to spare, and these deans pay pretty good for finding their ancient instruments. Better to be safe than sorry. Lead the way. She said she was a mercenary and would take 150 gold coins. I accepted. Her name was Vina, and she was an Imperial. Strange name and look for an Imperial. But she looked tough, looked like she could fight, and that's all I needed. I don't want to enter another cave and find it filled to the brim with bandits or worse on my own. Falkreath was this way, into the pine forest of Skyrim, the gates to Cyrodiil. I heard someone hurt, so I was ready for a fight since the roads aren't safe with this war raging on. It was an injured traveler. I gave him a health potion. If we can help others, we should. Sometimes a good deed is reward enough. Wow. The roads of Falkreath must be pretty safe if those tavern women can travel them on their own. I'm told they sell their bodies to people at inns. I don't understand how a woman could do that. It should be between two lovers. Falkreath was a beauty. Big, beautiful pine trees. Crazy how this place will be white soon. It would be easy to get lost in this place. This forest is so ancient. I wonder what secrets this forest hold. Even the ancient forts have fallen prey to Kind's magnificence. Autumn was starting to show itself in this place. The orange trees. Reminds me of Riften. This place might take my favorite place. The range of colors here. All the animals. This place is truly a place of Kinnereth. All the deer. These don't look like the ones you find around Skyrim. Maybe they're from Cyrodiil? I got one of those weird feelings again. The same one I got with Cecilia and Senturos. I felt it calling to me, to follow the path. It led me off the road, into the orange trees. There was someone near. But I wouldn't fall prey to these feelings. I had a drum to find, not some weird feelings trip. This Vina might think I'm on skooma. Need to find this cave. It's called Haldir's Cairn. It's around here somewhere, in this forest. After an hour looking around, it looks like we found it. This did look like an ancient Nord tomb. This is where I'll find Riorn's drum. I wonder what lies in wait for us in here. Creatures? Bandits? Undead? What was that blue beam? It felt wrong, like it was drawing me in. And it had dead bodies around it. What happened to them? I found a journal on the pedestal. It was from those dead people. They were bandits who were on the run from their own kind or something. They came here to hide out, but they couldn't leave. It said Haldir himself was speaking to them. It seems this tomb wasn't to bury an ancient Nord, but to lock one away. And these bandits woke him up, and now this Haldir is back and up to no good. Like any other Nord tomb, we faced traps and the undead guarding it. But these undead didn't look like Draugr or ancient Nords. These seemed to be the ghost of others that wandered into this cave to never return. There were still many Draugr that have fallen under Haldir's spell, or trying to keep the living out. We faced puzzle doors, more tricks from the ancient Nords to keep out travelers looking to rob tombs or awaken those they locked away. We finally reached the top of the tomb, when Haldir's ghost appeared. I had to fight for my life. Haldir vanished and spawned copies of himself. The ancients and their magics. Vina was blocked by the gate that closed behind me. I was on my own with this one. Some old dead Nord's no match for me. I'll make sure this Haldir doesn't hurt anyone ever again. Even if they are bandits. How many times do I need to kill this shade? Can't they just accept death? Finally, Haldir was defeated, and his blue mist vanished. The place didn't feel so wrong anymore. It felt like fresh air, which was weird for a place like a tomb. He had some strange staff. Maybe I can sell this. People would pay good money for some ancient Nordic mage staff. Now let's get this drum and get out of this dusty old tomb. The drum looked like it had dried blood on it. Still, this is what Gerard Germain wanted. Quest complete. Time to head into Falkreath. The curse of this place had lifted and Haldir was slain. Maybe he might come back in 1,000 years, but he won't hurt anybody anytime soon. Falkreath looked so nice. It felt it was one with nature, and the Stormcloaks were guarding it. Seems like the sons and daughters of Skyrim are still trying to free Skyrim from the Empire. I'll head to the local merchants and sell this staff and the other goodies we found in Haldir's cairn. Then I'll pay Vina for her help, and I might get a room here for the night. Many battles have been fought here over the centuries. As we walked through the gate, a thick fog fell over Falkreath. It was kind of strange. Maybe that's just the signs of winter coming.
Look around all you want, but don't try anything funny. Well met. Unlike my brother, I've no dislike of strangers. Met lots of them while I was a Stormcloak. I was once, but not anymore. I was wounded in a skirmish up near Windhelm. This was years ago, mind you. Now maybe I don't pick up a blade in Ulfric's name no more, but I still hold with his ideals. Skyrim is Nordland, and we ought to rule it. We don't need no help from the Empire on that count. Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
For her help and the money I had earned, I decided to pay her more than we agreed on. I don't need all this gold weighing me down, and she was good, so she's worth more. Once I paid her, she wished me well and went on her way. She wasn't to stay in Falkreath. On the other hand, I would. I'll go get a room, then I'll go looking around Falkreath. They have an ancient grave here, one that holds many great warriors of Skyrim's past. This place felt so different to anywhere in Skyrim. It wasn't the land, but more the feeling, like it made you feel warm somehow. Even though winter was coming, it still felt good here. Might be the fog. I don't know. I'll go get a room, unpack my gear and look around. Find out more about Falkreath. Be stories to sing in Cyrodiil and Tamriel.
Welcome to Dead Man's Drink. I escaped fighting in Cyrodiil, only to have it track me down again in Skyrim. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Now that I'm set in, it's time to go visit this ancient graveyard and read the stories from heroes from hundreds or even thousands of years ago. All these inns are full of these working girls. Did she have fangs?
What can I do for you?
It looked like she had fangs, but she didn't look like a vampire. She didn't look like a pale corpse. How can these women sell their bodies to strangers? Then again, they were very beautiful. Anyway, it's time to go looking around. Should go down and read some of the tombstones. Learn about these long-dead Nords of Skyrim. Might even paint a picture of my ancient homeland, how the Nords lived hundreds of years ago. Might even be able to write songs about these fallen warriors' lives and sing them across Tamriel. Take the stories with me across the world. Who better to tell me the stories of the fallen than the priest of Arkay? These priests know the dead they take care of. Those they have put here, and those they guard.
Kust is responsible for the cemetery here in Falkreath. I take care of the shrine. I am. I came into Arkay's light after the Great War. So many died by my hands, my magics. I'm fortunate that Kust and the people of Falkreath have come to accept me as one of their own. Could you do an old elf a favor? I misplaced my journal in a cave I was exploring. I'll pay for its return.
A Great War veteran?
Blessing of Archay to you for your help.
I'll help him out. There's still a few hours of sunlight
journal
left,
means a lot
and
to
he
me.
left his journal in some cave in the area. Better go back and get my gear on again. Hopefully I'm back before sundown. The freedom of the roads. It's when your life is your own. One step could lead you on an adventure or death. Every hero of Skyrim or even Tamriel have started their journeys on the roads. It's crazy to think where I'll end up. Will I only be known by the family I'll make? Or will all of Skyrim and even Tamriel hear of my stories? Will I die just another Nord? Or go down into legends? Who knows? I don't plan on becoming some famous Nord. I just want to travel the world and help out where I can. Spread stories that I'll make and spread the stories of others I'll meet. Now I just have to find this journal and try not to be killed by these Spriggans. Spriggans are meant to be the guardians of Kyne, yet they attack anybody that get too close. I understand we can destroy, but some of us just wish to explore. Runel's journal. Good. Now I can get back to Falkreath before the sun's down. I have this feeling, like I really want to read it. Father never told me much on the Great War, and this might show me some of what happened then. I really shouldn't. It would be rude, but I feel like I must. As a bard, I must. We carry many different stories, and through us they travel on into songs. Runel's journal wrote, 17 second seed. It's been a long time since I've written an entry in this journal. I admit with some embarrassment then that when I pulled it down from the shelf, I nearly choked on the dust that flew. There is little to tell, but did suffer another awful nightmare of the war. I suppose this is an affliction common to many who must see the horrors of war firsthand. Writing about it has already helped me to feel better. A 19-second seed. Received a letter from Anders in Whiterun. He has invited me to visit, and I intend to accept. It's been a long time since I was in the city. My only fear is the Thalmor. I have heard that they and their agents are abroad in Skyrim, rooting out worshippers of Talos. I must be sure to keep a low profile. 28-second seed. Returned from my trip to Whiterun to find very few flowers have bloomed here. The rest of Skyrim is covered in blooms of fiery red and piercing blue, but only a scant few have appeared in or near the town. I'll make it my mission to change that. We could use some flowers to brighten this gloomy place. Perhaps I can get Tekla to help me. 9 mid-year. Spent most of the day consoling Laud, who received news of his cousin Grimsvoter's death. They were quite close as youths, and Laud drank and talked of his childhood memories. It was touching, but bittersweet. 22 mid-year. A wandering peddler passed through Falkreath today. I purchased a few sticks of incense from him. He was a nice young Nord lad, following in his father's footsteps. I think his name was Valbjorn. A few days later, one of the town guards spied a pack of carrion birds circling near the road. He found young Valbjorn's corpse, victim of a bandit attack. My heart is heavy, and yet I should know better. Life and death, growth and change, the turning of the seasons. These are all aspects of mighty Archay. I should not be so affected by the death of one young man. And yet... 12 suns height. Travelers pass through town, speaking of the land in the grip of high summer. These are the warmest days of the year in Skyrim, but not in Falkreath. Here, all is mist and fog and rain. It is always cool and damp, and the seasons have little meaning. Solaf asked me about this today. He said that in a place of the dead, such as our great cemetery, Archay's dominion should be absolute. And yet Archay is also the Lord of Seasons, and this place seems untouched by them. I gave the best answer I could. I explained that Falkreath is indeed a place of great power for Archay, but he prefers to keep it this way, solemn and gray. Hopefully that was at least partly true. But who can possibly know the mind of a god? 20 suns height. Dreams of the war again, but this time something different. I was leading a small band of Aldmeri battle mages on a mission deep into the heart of Imperial territory. We had drawn near our target, a supply depot outside of Cheydinhall, when the sky suddenly darkened. A great shadow passed over us, and there was a roar so terrible it chilled my blood. Something was flying just overhead, so huge and so dark as to blot out the sun. Hold on a second. He saw it in his dreams too. Did he too have nightmares of dragons? Back to the journal, it wrote. The dream changed, and then I was here in Falkreath, performing a service for someone who had just passed away, though I do not recall who. From the corner of my eye, I saw a stranger approaching. I turned to look, but the shadow came again, and the roar, and then I awoke. Now that I reflect on the dream, I cannot help but wonder, was it a dragon? Why would I dream of such a creature when I have never seen one? It seemed so real at the time, but now the memory is fading. What it means, I cannot say. Probably nothing. Did he have the same dream as I did? A black dragon? A roar so loud that it made your soul shiver. I'm not the only one then. And who was this shadow approaching him? This is all so crazy that him being the enemy of my father doesn't even matter. He's had the same nightmares I've had about dragons.
Kust is responsible for the cemetery here in Falkreath. I take care of the shrine. Burying the past is much harder than burying remains. I'm afraid of what you will think of me if I tell you about the things I've done.
He offered me inside to talk about his past, with the Dominion and the Thalmor. I'm more interested in the nightmares he had. I want to know more.
Although I have not practiced in a long time, I was once a wizard. Even when I was young, my magic was undeniably powerful. It was that power that brought me to the attention of the Thalmor. In the Somerset Isles, it is a great honor to be chosen to serve the Thalmor. I dream about those days still, except I'm not me. I can see myself there, and I try to stop what I know is going to happen, but many of the Empire's troops were Nords at that point. Some of them could even have been from around here.
He had the same look on his face my father had when I asked about the Great War. The things he had seen and committed during the war. I understand now why Father could never talk about it, so I won't pry and open all that buried pain.
Here, I promised you this.
Some things are better left unsaid. Sometimes talking about it can help, but sometimes talking about it is reliving the horror you faced. This story should remain in his journal only. After all that, the sun was starting to vanish over the mountains. The sun rising and falling is always so beautiful. The colors it creates are gorgeous, even if you can't see it rise or fall. I wanted to sit outside and have a few meads while the sun left the sky, and enjoy the beauty of the stars. It reminds me of better times. When I was a little girl, Mother Lisra and myself would go out and watch the sun fall into the Sea of Ghost. Mother would throw a big fur blanket over us while we giggled and dreamed of our futures. That me and Lisra would look into the stars imagining where we'd be as adults, traveling as bards together, or raising our own families. All while Mother would look down on us, while we looked into the stars to catch her smiling at us with loving eyes. I only wish they were all still alive. I wish that Lisra was with me on the roads, two sisters battling the world together while sharing songs. I better get my stuff and head back inside and get some rest.
Always glad to talk to a bard.
I heard someone scream vampire. Falkreath was under attack by damn vampires. Couldn't see a damn thing. All I could see was their foul magic. These abominations won't hurt anybody else this night. I killed these damn vampires. They won't hurt the people of Falkreath or anybody else ever again. I won't let others suffer the way I suffered. Vampires are abominations, and all of them should burn. I should get back inside and wipe all this filthy, cold vampire blood off me. It's disgusting. These vampire attacks are getting out of control. They even tried to attack Solitude days ago, to attack the capital of the West that's guarded by an army. It's insane. Why isn't anybody doing anything about this? Vampires attacking cities at night, raiding on the roads during the day. What in Talos is being done about all this? What are those vigilants of Stendar doing? Isn't this what they're meant to be doing? We need to fight back before they kill us all. If there's anybody out there fighting this fight, I'll lend my blade to them. There's no point traveling the world if it's infested with bloodsuckers. I had to get some rest. I needed to be up early. But when I slept, I had another one of those strange dreams. Could say more of a nightmare. It was frightening. I felt scared. It was another one of those carvings I can read, but it was deep in the dark forest, guarded by some evil door. I don't want to go there. Something is bad about that place. When I woke, I was sweating. Maybe it was that nightmare. I didn't feel too well, but I had to get back to Solitude. I need to get this drum back to the Bards College. It feels really hot, then really cold. I felt a bit off standing up. Maybe some fresh air will help me. It's normally beautiful during this time of the morning. The sun was just starting to rise, the beautiful colors it creates. I could never imagine not being able to see this. Yeah, I felt horrible. I had such a horrible headache. What was going on with me? I really don't think I should be traveling feeling like this. But I need to get back to Solitude. I'll just tough it out. Wait up! Could I have been infected by these things? I think these vampires have made me sick. I better take a potion real quick. I'll throw myself into the fire if I become one of those monsters. I might take the Whiterun route back to Solitude. After that potion, I'm feeling much better, so I'll enjoy the open plains of Whiterun and its golden hills. These ancient castles dotting Skyrim, hidden by forests and mountains. What in the world? A zombie wolf? That which is dead should stay dead. Only the foulest of people bring back the dead no matter what it is. While traveling the roads during these times, it's normal to see dead bodies littering the roads from this war. But seeing a traveler, it makes me sad because that could have been me. If only the guards were here to help him. But they're all fighting in a war. His loved ones are never going to know what happened to him, how he died or where he died. It's really sad. Look at that ancient Nord ruin. Normally they're all underground, but this one sits on the mountain so proudly. Maybe one day the roads will lead me to explore that ancient ruin. I have a feeling they will. The standing stones. I remember Father told me a story about finding these. He said he had picked the warrior, and he believes it helped him make it home to us after his time as a mercenary on the roads. He said 3 stood together, the thief, the mage, and the warrior. But more would follow, like the diamond and the bear, and he laughed loudly, saying even a bat and a wolf. That one day they'll stand behind me. I still don't understand what he meant. He was dying then, saying all sorts of crazy stuff. When I arrived just outside Riverwood, the sun was just starting to peek through the throat of the world. It was a majestic sight to see. When I arrived, it was still early in the morning, so mostly everyone was waking up and getting ready for the day. Then a fight broke out between the Whiterun Guard and the Stormcloaks. The place wasn't safe. They were shooting arrows everywhere. You had to get behind something or risk finding one lodged in your thigh or knee. And once you have an arrow in the knee, your adventuring days are over. You would have to become a guard since there's an open spot right now. While walking past Riverwoods Inn, I had another one of those weird feelings, like the ones I get with people. The same odd feeling I had with Cecilia, that rogue, and Senturos. What is the meaning of all these weird feelings? Like I can sense people? I feel this one as a cloaked blade, hard to trust but loyal to their cause. I'm just going to stick to the roads, travel through the golden plains of Whiterun, and head back to Solitude to deliver this drum for Gerard Germain. Speaking of which, I should start learning to play the drums. Out of all the instruments, the drum seems to be the easiest to learn, but it's also the most fun. However, I have a feeling that my time with the college is coming to an end. Why is it always raining in Hoffingar? Winter here is going to be tough, with constant wetness and cold. It might be time to get my things in order and head south into Cyrodiil. I'll stay in Bruma until winter arrives, learning about Cyrodiil's culture. And when winter sets in, I'll head west into Kvatch and Anvil, where it's warmer. On the way back to Solitude, I came across a Thalmor patrol. They had a Stormcloak prisoner, and I fear what will happen to him. I hope that one day these elves will see the error of their ways, just like Runel did. It doesn't matter what the weather is like, how many times you've seen it before, or how long you've been gone for. The sight of Solitude is breathtaking.
You there. The Dawn Guard is looking for anyone willing to fight against the growing vampire menace. What do you say?
The Dawn Guard? They hunt vampires?
Ha! Isran's going to like you. Go talk to him at Fort Dawn Guard, southeast of Riften. He'll decide if you're Dawn Guard material.
I had a strange feeling I was leaving Solitude soon. I thought it was going to be the winter, but I guess not. I wanted to travel Tamriel, but this vampire problem is getting out of hand, and somebody needs to deal with them before more families like mine get hurt. We need to act now before we're all food for the bloodsuckers. Cyrodiil is going to have to wait for now. If we don't stand up and act now against the vampires, this civil war won't matter. We'll all be slaves to the vampires, and one by one they will drain us dry. My time here in the college has come to an end. Maybe one day I'll return, but what I fear is coming. I don't think I'll even make it out of this one alive. I need my rest, for this journey to Fort Dawnguard will be long. I wish everyone here the best. It's felt good being here like a family. I will miss them. But Skyrim is in terrible danger, and I must stand with those who are going to protect it. Like somebody told me, if the darkness comes, the light shall follow. Maybe Cecilia and Zarita have joined this Dawn Guard? I'll miss this place, the music, and the beautiful mornings. I was so eager to leave, but now I know I'm going to miss Solitude. I'll never forget this view. One day I'll be back after my travels of Tamriel. I'll return to tell the stories I'll make and teach new aspiring bards. That's if I don't catch a pair of fangs in the neck. Hoffingar always has beautiful views from where it sits on the mountains. Wait up, is that the statue I saw in my dream? How in oblivion have I not seen this? I've taken this road many times. How in oblivion have I not seen this before? I mean, I've taken this road countless times. I had to go check this out. I can't believe I haven't looked up and seen this. Why didn't I just look up? I would have walked right under this statue that day I had that dream. Ugh, how did I miss it? I heard that chanting again. What is with these carvings I can read? It makes no sense. I'll check out this statue after I read these carvings. The wall read, "Et nok fjol mod bain suvopuk, olpochas no gololok, koprandrenuko gold." In our tongue it says, "Here lies Fjolmod Foulair, who stank as much on earth as his body does now in the ground." How in Oblivion can I read these in a different language? What language is this? It sounds like mumble jumble. I'm not sure what to make of it. What in Oblivion is that? Whatever that is, it looks massive. Is that armor made out of gold? Is that a woman? And is she guarding that statue? I'll approach and see what she does. Hopefully it doesn't get aggressive. The last thing I need to deal with right now. It's just staring at me. It's kind of scary. I got really close, and it just stared at me. It didn't get aggressive. It didn't do anything but watch me. This giant woman let me pass, so I guess I'll go up and find out what this place is.
A new supplicant approaches. Listen, hear me and obey. A foul darkness has seeped into my temple. A darkness that you will destroy. But first, you must restore to me my beacon. I shall guide you unto it. Find it and return here, and great shall be your reward.
Was that statue talking to me? What in the gods is going on? A high elf approached me and told me that her lady Marillia had spoken to me. She had been silent for many years. I've been called to find her beacon, and she and her guard will follow me on this quest. She was confused because she had prayed to her lady for many years, and all she got was silence. Even others had come and gone. Why me? Why did this Marillia call out to me? That some necromancer was inside her temple? And that I needed to find her beacon to wipe this necromancer out? This priestess told me that Marillia hates the undead. Good, so do I. Let's go get this beacon and kill ourselves a necromancer. The beacon was stolen by another necromancer called Sild the Warlock. Marillia said her beacon is hidden away in a ruin called Ranvaeg's Fast in Whiterun Hold. I guess I'll kill 2 necromancers with 1 beacon. Are those ghosts? Nord ruins don't usually have ghosts, or ghosts outside in the daylight. Nord ruins generally don't have anything outside their ruins. All their dangers lie within. They were charging us, but screaming they didn't want to, that they had no choice.
This isn't what I want. I don't have enough sun. This isn't what I want. Stay back, or I'll be forced to attack you. I don't have any choice. I don't want to do this. This isn't what I want. I'm sorry. This isn't what I want. I don't have any choice.
These ghosts were enslaved. It appears that Sild must have killed them and gained control over their souls.
I'm sorry.
What in the name of Talos is that? I've never seen anything like that before. Oh, crap, it's not happy to see us. This must have been where these ghosts were once camped before they ended up in their current state. It's a tragic reminder of the suffering they have endured. We must stay determined and focused on our goal to defeat Sild the Warlock and retrieve Marillia's beacon. By doing so, we can free this place from such evil and bring justice to those who have been wronged. We found the beacon resting on a chest, accompanied by a wall adorned with intricate carvings. Among them, there was another carving that seemed to call out to me, drawing my attention. While being distracted by the beacon and the carving, I suddenly found myself falling into a trap. However, with the luck of the gods, I managed to land on my feet, avoiding any serious harm.
Fallen for my trap. Greed makes a great ruler. Odd you didn't die from the fall, though. Most do. Oh, and don't mind my assistant here. He may have seen better days, but he's still more help to me dead than he was alive. All right, let's see if we have something here to end this as quickly as possible. Don't worry.
Sild's true intentions become clear as I realize that he had created the lure to trap people, cage them, and ultimately kill them while enslaving their souls.
Gotta be somewhere
It's a
around
horrifying revelation that paints Sild as a true monster, capable of such malevolent acts. The depths of his cruelty and disregard for life are truly unsettling. Sild deserves nothing but death and will be shown no mercy. Sild was a deeply twisted monster. Tamriel is undoubtedly better off with him rotting. The wall wrote Khan. It all wrote. In our tongue it says, "Here lies the body of Hela, friend to all beasts, servant of kine. May she find eternal rest in the forest of dreams." These words serve as a tribute to Hela, who was known for her deep connection with the creatures of the land and her devotion to kine. May her spirit find peace and tranquility in the realm of dreams.
You have found my beacon. But it is not time for rejoicing. The defiler continues to profane my temple. Return to my figure on Mount Kilcreath, and I shall make you the instrument of my cleansing light. Look at my temple lying in ruins. So much for the constancy of mortals, their crafts and their hearts. If they love me not, how can my love reach them? Restore to me my beacon, that I might guide you toward your destiny.
What? What in the name of Molag Bal was happening? Oh, put me down!
It is time for
Oh my gods, what in oblivion? How?
return to Skyrim. But the token of my truth lies buried in the ruins of my once great temple, now tainted by a profane.
That's a view that can't be beaten.
skitter.
I'm scared to move. I could just fall.
The necromancer Malkorid defiles my shrine with vile corruptions, trapping lost souls left in the wake of this war to do his bidding. Worse still, he uses the power stored within my own token to fuel his foul deeds. I have brought you here, mortal, to be my champion. You will enter my temple, retrieve my artifact, and destroy the defiler. Mortals call it Dawnbreaker, for it was forged in a holy light that breaks upon my foes, burning away corruption and false life. You will enter my shrine, destroy Malkorin, and retrieve this mighty blade. Of course you will. I have commanded it. Go now. The artifact must be reclaimed, and Malkorin destroyed. Malkorin has forced the door shut, but this is my temple, and it responds to my decree. I will send down a ray of light. Guide this light through my temple, and its doors will open.
That was something I'd like to never do again. Now it is time to enter Merillia's temple and kill this necromancer. The atmosphere inside the temple was filled with an eerie presence, accompanied by the sight of defiled corpses. The air itself seemed tainted, carrying a chilling sensation that sent shivers down your spine. It was a deeply unsettling experience, as if darkness itself had seeped into every corner of the temple. The sense of twisted malevolence permeated every inch of the temple, surpassing the eerie atmosphere found in typical Nordic tombs guarded by the undead. It was as if this place had been tainted by an even darker force, evoking a heightened sense of dread and unease. The warm glow of Marillia's beacons permeated the room, casting away the darkness and filling the space with a renewed sense of hope and tranquility. We came face to face with the tragic victims of the necromancer's dark arts, witnessing the sorrow and torment they endured in their restless state. The act of resurrecting the dead is a heinous crime. The act of resurrecting the deceased is an abhorrent offense, as it not only defies the natural order, but also deprives the departed of their rightful peace and final rest. Those who bring back the dead and disturb their peace deserve to face the ultimate consequence. The ruin was filled with numerous locked doors and hidden passages that could only be opened by the beacons. As we ventured further down, the atmosphere grew increasingly dark and infused with an evil presence. I was meant to be on my way to join the Dawn Guard. Now I'm deep in a Nord ruin, killing the undead on a quest for a Daedric prince. I remember Cecilia telling me that the Daedra were evil. However, upon encountering Merida, I found her to be more characterized by pride rather than malevolence. Instead of being outright evil, she appeared to be driven by self-serving motives. She was also very demanding. But Cecilia did say that the Daedra don't care for mortal life, that we are like ants to them, easy to stomp out. But if that's true, why does Marillia hate the undead so much? If she didn't care for life, why does she care when it's brought back? Some Daedric princes revel in the suffering of mortals. I don't believe that applies to all of them. Some Daedric princes seem to have a different approach to their interactions with the mortal world. Take Marillia, for example. It appears that she enjoys having mortals worship her, rather than inflicting suffering upon them. Perhaps she finds more satisfaction in the adoration and reverence of mortals than in causing them harm. As we got closer to Malkoran, the air grew heavy with the putrid stench of darkness. And there he stood, in the very presence of darkness. However, it is in the darkness of rooms where the light shines most powerfully. When we killed him, he returned as a foul spirit. But even that wasn't a match for the priestess's guardian. Now that he's dead, this place can finally hold the light.
Take Dawnbreaker from its pedestal. Malkoran is vanquished. Skyrim's dead shall remain at rest. This is as it should be. This is because of you. A new day is dawning, and you shall be its herald. Take the mighty Dawnbreaker, and with it purge corruption from the dark corners of the world. Wield it in my name, that my influence may grow. It matters not. The plant cares nothing for the rays that bring it the warmth of the sun. As you carry Dawnbreaker, so will my light touch the world.
She rewarded me with her blade, Dawnbreaker. It was a truly beautiful and elegant weapon, radiating an aura that seemed to absorb light itself. Holding it in my hands, I couldn't help but feel as if it had been forged by the gods. When we were all done, the sun was going down, so I decided to camp for the night with Marillia's priestess. We would strike up a very interesting conversation. She would tell me that she wasn't an Altmer, that she was, in fact, an Ayleid princess. She said her father was a king, and shortly after her birth, they fled their home from the Alessian Order. Then they went to a new land. But her family was forced to flee her new home because of a cult of Hermaeus Mora. She doesn't remember much, but Marillia had told her that her father died a hero and a true servant of his people. I was told by my father that the Ayleids were a race of elves that once controlled Cyrodiil and enslaved the humans there, until a rebellion broke free. It seems that not all of these Ayleids were of the bad sort. Rom, what the priestess said. The Ayleids went to war with each other, one side worshipping Molag Bal and the other Meridia. The Meridian side allied with the humans. After the humans won, I asked how she was alive for so long, and she told me that Meridia's light keeps her young. She's immortal. But now I'm off to join the Dawn Guard. We need to stand together to end these vampires. And with Dawnbreaker, the vampires are going to fear our name. With winter coming, Skyrim is at a greater risk of vampires. With the sun hidden, it's not just the fangs that come out. It's the undead from the ruins. Winter isn't safe in Skyrim. If the cold won't kill you, something already dead will. That's the cave leading into Fort Dawnguard. I'm here. As I traversed through the cave and into the canyon, I felt a great sense of purpose. It felt as though I was on the right path. My only hope is that others will join me in this fight to protect Skyrim from the vampire threat. This sanctuary, tucked away in the splendor of the rift, was breathtaking. Nestled just beyond the mountains, it was a stone's throw away from Morrowind, the homeland of the Dark Elves. Such beauty was a well-kept secret, hidden from the rest of Skyrim. The first glimpses of this ancient fort stood in stark contrast to the ruins scattered across Skyrim. While those had crumbled under the weight of centuries, this fortress seemed to have held its ground, steadfast and enduring against the passage of time. This fort seemed like an impenetrable barrier, capable of holding back the relentless hordes of vampires. It exuded an aura of invincibility, as if those who lurk in the shadows of the night could never breach its mighty gates. And the brave defenders who stand defending these gates bring forth the light amidst the darkness, determined to save Skyrim from eternal despair. I will proudly stand by their side, ensuring that no others have to endure the suffering I once did. I shall seek vengeance for all those who have fallen victim to these vile creatures.
I heard what's going on. The vampires, the Dawn Guard, all of it. I wanted to help, so here I am.
New recruits. Isran will decide if you've got what it takes. Go on, he's right inside.
I shall be the beacon of light amidst the darkness. For all those who hide in the shadows shall burn.
G'day guys, just want to say thanks for the views in the last one. I don't expect this one at all to get that close. At all. It's way too long. But I love making these stories. And welcome to those that are new to the chapter series. This is my Dragonborn. And this is kind of just setting her up for the Dawn Guard. So you obviously watched it. I'm sometimes thinking about watching spoilers and I realise this is a very... You're at the outro. I kind of want to show her to be a compassionate person, you know, like this is character building, because again, in Bethesda games, except Fallout 4, we're an emotional pit, you know, the playable character in Skyrim is just an emotionless pit. Without you, they've got no emotion, no direction, nothing, they just stand there for all eternity. And what I want from this playable series is to make all these characters feel like they have their own personality. I mean, I've given them a voice, you hear what they're talking about, you hear what they're thinking about, I mean, like, you know, what's going on in their mind, you could hear that, and hopefully with this, I'm able to, at least especially my Dragonborn, show her personality, show her characteristics. And to me, it's always that she's a very kind person. Like, she's lost a lot of her... She lost a lot. You know, she lost her family. But she still carries her heart on her sleeve. She's very passionate for the time being. You know, she's young, she wants to explore the world, she wants to help people where she can, and if she can. and she wants to see the better in people. And so with this one, I always try to play her, well, kind of how I see her, as a young, innocent woman who's traveling the world. She kind of seems a bit naive at the moment, you know, a bit naive to the world, and that's kind of what I want for her. I wanted her to be somewhat innocent, but not so innocent that she could just be rolled over. You know, she's careful, but she's also kind of, not, I wouldn't say stupid, just a little too helpful, you know, in circumstances. Like, she'll give her gold away, she'll give her health potion away, she'll look after people if she can, you know, because her father and her mother taught her better. Even though her mother died when she was 10, but her father was a bit stern, and he always made sure that she was... this fucking awesome line from a movie called Sniper. And the father, you know, he's sitting down with his kids, he's got a belt in his hand, and he goes, you know, you're either a wolf or you're a sheep. And then, or there's a sheepdog, and I didn't raise no goddamn wolf. And kind of like to think that's the way her father treated her when he was raising her from 10 to 19, that he wanted her to be not a sheep, but not a wolf, but a sheepdog. And it's kind of the way that I'm going with her in this. Now, in her sort of like origin series, she's, you know, you see her trying to get information out of her dad, you know, what happened in the Civil War, and he doesn't talk about it. And there's and this is kind of the perfect, this was natural storytelling, dude, 100% natural. So when I tried to go to the priest a while ago, he never gave me these quest lines for some reason. Like, he never gave, and I was like, oh, it's there, I'll take it. And this was just played right into like the hand of my story. But this wasn't scripted at all. In his book, he talks about seeing a dragon in his dream, and that I'd already set that up beforehand in one of her other earlier chapters, and I had no idea this book had that. So this is the first time I've actually had the character read the book like it's a goddamn audiobook. And I was like, holy shit, doesn't that just work? Like, she's just read a book about a dude having a dream, a nightmare of his past, about a dragon flying over, the same sort of dream that she had. She looks up in the sky, turns around, and there's a dragon circling like a shark. And there's Elduin. And she gets to learn some of the horrors of the war. And when she goes and confronts him, you know, she looks at his face, and she sees her father's face. You know, her father fought on the Imperial side of the war, and this guy fought on the Dominion side of the war. But she sees the exact same face when the war's brought up, that it brings horror. You know, it brings, they stare off into oblivion. You know, they become sort of voidless, and the face kind of just, it's emotionless but also sad. And so she didn't ask any more questions. She kind of was like, yep, because there is a question where you ask him about the Thalmor, and he describes it killing children, women, and everyone. No, he spared nobody. So I thought it'd be a good idea for her not to pry into that, because sometimes when you bring up war, it's like it's not black and white. And anyone that's served in war, they've all done horrible shit, things they think are so immoral, but they had to survive or had to follow their orders. And it's not so black and white like we're raised to believe our countries are good guys and their countries are bad guys. And it's the same thing with this war. Playing both characters, I've learnt that with Sigund and Senturos, that I'm not just this die-hard Imperial, that I understand the Stormcloaks from many different points of view. It's crazy. This bit was kind of sad, because obviously she's talking about her dreams as a child with her and her sister, looking up into the sky and imagining they'd be as adults. And then the reality hits that her sister died when she was 10. And she's now thinking about the dreams she had as a kid and how her sister's not here. And same with her mother. It's a precious memory of her sister out on the ground with a fur blanket over them, with their mother behind them, giggling and watching them just be her children. And then you think about the current time they're dead. And for anyone that's gone to that, I'm sorry, man, that's brought up some emotions. With this, I kind of wanted to kind of show, again, I'm trying to sell a point the vampires are a threat. I think in the last 3 or 4 chapters, I've had the vampires attack people. And this is probably like one of those things where this also plays into the part of Sigund in her chapter, War in the West, when she walks, like she fights off the hordes of, like she fights off vampires in her keep, and then when she rocks up to Falkreath the next morning, she finds vampire bodies all over the goddamn at the gate, and thinking, oh yeah, the Stormcloaks down them, good shot. But this is actually Ragni, because Ragni, she walks past this post and she has a weird sense about someone, like she does with the other characters, other playable characters. And she ignores it. She goes and does it, you know, her quest. And again, this is Sigund. She is, you know, she's walking past them the next morning, seeing these guys still on the ground because Ragni killed them. And I kind of wanted to put that in there. Yeah, it's a cool little hint to like these kind of stories are being played during the same time. Right now, you know, Sigund is fighting off vampires and keeping a vigil for the night after being attacked continuously. Also brings up Solitude being attacked, because it did get attacked and I actually recorded it, and I thought, why not? Like, vampires are pretty bally to... Anyway, I wanted to kind of show off a bit of a nakey side, that the full nakey side. And all that sort of stuff, but vampires getting brave enough to attack Solitude is nuts. Now with this, she talks about the vigilance. Where the hell are they? What are they doing? Well, they're probably getting lit on fire and their ships being burnt down by vampires, because it's leading to that very, very shortly. You know, they're not really well equipped to take on a vampire army. But this, I want to have another dream. Like, the Greybeards can meditate and find words of power. When the Dragonborn sleeps, so can they. Or if they learn to meditate, like the Greybeards. This one was kind of spooky, because currently, if she walked in there, she would be killed. She probably wouldn't get through the door, but she'd be killed. And later on, during a certain quest, when she gets that word of power, the certain residents will be slightly relocated, you could say. Could have got a serious tan, and yeah, she'll be safe to walk in there then. But maybe confident enough to think that she can just walk in there like she's got the biggest knackers in the building. Now this one is actually quite important, because it came to me on the spot. I was like, holy shit, this makes a lot of sense to my own story. These are called the Guardian Stones, and they're pretty much 3 Atronach Stones? I don't remember what they're called. The Doom Stones. And one of them's a thief, one of them's a mage, and one is the warrior. And then it clicked in my fucking head. I was like, holy shit. That really sounds like the story I'm setting up for the Dragonborn. For Team Dragonborn. You know, the 3 that follow her. The very 3 that I made unique characters have their own guilds. The thief, being, you know, the Nightingale. The mage, being Minerva. And the warrior, being Tonrock. And, you know, when her father was dying, he was having all sorts of... Because when people die, man, they say some crazy shit. Sometimes they see a person sitting that they've known before, that people say is death, camouflaged as someone they loved, or it is the spirit of a loved lost one that's guiding them to the afterlife. And they say some pretty crazy shit. And I thought, why not in a world of fantasy and magic? Doesn't her father say some pretty crazy shit? And so let's listen to what they got to say, because I thought it was absolutely awesome. And we'll bring up the other ones.
The Standing Stones. I remember Father told me a story about finding these. He said he had picked the warrior, and he believes it helped him make it home to us after his time as a mercenary on the roads. He said 3 stood together, the thief, the mage, and the warrior. But more would follow, like the diamond and the bear, and he laughed loudly, saying even a bat and a wolf. That one day they'll stand behind me.
Now that, obviously, the Standing Stones are the guild characters that I created for this entire story. So they had their own story, their own characteristics, and that sort of stuff. But when she says, when her father said the bear and the diamond, I wasn't going to go for the dragon, but she's the dragon. The bear and the diamond mean the one side of the Septon coin. It's Senturos and Sigund. And the bat and the wolf is Cecilia and Freya. And I really I was like, holy shit, man, these Standing Stones are literally the 3 people that will join her from the guilds to try and save Tamriel in the future when the big old BBDs come along, the big black dragons. And I thought that was man, I love telling stories like this in Skyrim, because sometimes they literally write themselves, and I fucking love that. It's like, anyone that's written a story will tell you, like when they're doing a story, that sometimes they write themselves, and it's amazing. It's an awesome feeling when it just comes together. Now when I sold this one, I literally had this dream at the end that she'd walk past Maria's statue, but at the time after that I thought it wouldn't be wise to go and do that straight away. Maybe some more character building might be essential. And again, you're in a high mountain, you don't look up, you look down. You look down the view beside you, and she's walked through this thing under this so many times and not seen it, and maybe that was fate. Maybe it was fate that she didn't see it. And now I finally have an excuse to show off my really cool characters that are using ESO ported armor, but really kind of build on the Break of Dawn, because it's not just about the sword, Dawnbreaker. It's also about the Dawn Guard. Now, I will admit, I probably should have put some grammar in this, like, when she was speaking dragon, because it sounds kind of gibberish, and it kind of sounds Mexican for some reason, or Spanish. And like, but how the fuck do you put grammar in a language you have no idea what it's saying? Like, it's like, vidando, and it's like, bro, what? How the fuck do you put grammar into something you can't read? Like, That really sucked. So I thought for the next one, the very next place we'd go, I would not speak in Dragon, but I might just speak in a Tamrielic tongue as in English, and that makes so much more sense because she doesn't sound like she's having a goddamn fit, which she did in this, and that was a bit gibberish. Now, she sees an Orion, right? Or is that what they call it? Normally they're male, but they're big and tall, and I thought, why not? Because Meridia's not going to just have male ones, maybe she has female ones, because again, discarding a female priestess, maybe she feels more comfortable, that sort of shit. But she has no idea what this is. She has no idea. And I've chose a female soldier voice because it's a voice in the game that actually has no audio files, which is awesome. So she's just a mute. But this is I was just really excited to show them off. And it was just like, because this is ported from ESO armor. You can't get on the Nexus. You have to find pictures on the Nexus, which will lead you to Discord, which leads you to download it. And it's made for SC. So it works. And I just used body slide and I decided to make a chick, because why not? Probably should have went a bloke for a bit more immersive reasons, but I really wanted to show off this princess, sort of like, because she looks so goddamn cool with this armor on. It looked beautiful. And again, her origins are a bit, ESO related. And look, man, honestly, if I was trying to think of like a cool little story for this, and she told me to go and find her beacon. And honestly, the beacon was in some fucking bandit fort in like Riften, and I was trying to figure out a way how to move the beacon without touching it. And I figured a way, which was actually pretty cool. It was like what did I do? I forgot. I had to like drop the item, use like the console command drop the item ID 1 from the chest, and it fell out of the chest. And then I had to like console command it, move to a different place, place it there, and it actually worked. Because it makes more sense that if this necromancer broke in and stole the beacon so he couldn't be protected, maybe another necromancer was there, and he took the beacon. And he's taken that beacon to his own fortification in Whiterun, and he's placed it there on a chest looking like a very glowy, beautiful gem, and any idiot is going to sit and think, oh, that's beautiful. They're going to walk over to it and grab it and fall through a certain trap. It's there as bait alongside the word wall, which, like I said, I made sure I talked about this in English and didn't bring up the dragon language, because it does sound cool when, like, there's grammar in it, but it doesn't sound very cool when there's not. It's it's a pain in the ass. But it was actually, it felt a lot more immersive to have another, like, maybe a team of necromancers that stole it and they went their own ways to, like, run their own sort of necromantic trials. Like, I stole this, I need you to take it somewhere else. Yep, sure, I'll take it, I'll use it as bait. And all these poor ghosts fell trapped to that bait because, they saw this beautiful, shining, orbish gem sitting on top of a chest, and they're like, this is mine, man. They walked over to it, fall through the trap, and broke their legs or whatever. And being killed by this necromancer. And I thought it was a kind of a cluey little thing saying, I'm going to kill 2 necromancers with 1 beacon. That was pretty cool. Now this bit right here, I'd understand what would happen to her, because you'd need new jocks, because if all of a sudden you start floating and then you start flying into the sky, you would shit your pants. And then you'd fear, like, moving. Like, she didn't even look at the angelic woman looking at her, she just looked at the ground, pure fear. Like, fuck everything else. I'm standing on top of the air. And then there was Marillia. Now, I went through a lot of work, man, fixing her up. Her outfit kept crashing. And it was a pain in my ass, because it wasn't actually the wings or the dress or the golden sort of stuff. It was actually the necklace that came with the wings. But for some reason, they were broken, and it pissed me off. Now, naturally, Marillia is a... what did I go over it? Cloak, eh? From that dancer thing. Oh, well. Marillia is... Hood. Marillia is a ball of light. Her literal outfit. She's actually a high elf, but her outfit's a ball of light that kind of walks towards you. So that's literally her armor. Like her default outfit, like Lydia's is in Skyrim a default steel armor. Her armor is a ball of light. It looks great. So I thought I'd give her a visual upgrade. I got some wings from Fading Signal, I think it was, or necklace, but that was crashing. Some gold stuff from this like Queen Marika outfit, and of course the sort of like an elven fairy dress from Apache's Divine Elegance, which I don't exactly know where it came from, but. And yeah, I thought this looked awesome because Marillia's statue on both the modded version and the vanilla version have wings. Makes her look like an angel. But that's kind of what she is. Like when you go to a realm that's apparently golden and full of light, it looks like you expect heaven and an angel. She's very prideful like an angel or something like that. She just has that angelic sort of vibe about her. Because she is the creation of an Aedra before she became a Daedric prince. So she's kind of Aedric. Well, she's also a Daedric prince. So I kind of wanted to give that divine look about her. Like she, also the reason she chooses to look like this is because it brings mortals in. It makes them think that she is a benevolent is that the word I'm looking for? A very nice, caring entity, you know, or like an entity of good, and that's why I decided to create it like this, because it looked better than a ball of fucking light. Now, this is actually like a new sort of thing in my story. I thought she'd be the perfect character to wield it, because she hates the undead, Marillia hates the undead, and this would be a perfect weapon for her future, because it's going to be used to kill the undead and put them to ash and show them proper fear of their immortality. Now, again, the previous story, which kind of sounds a bit weird, I had Cecilia do this. And Cecilia's a vampire. She's been a vampire for 200 years. And I'm not too sure Marillia, like, I don't know if Marilla's going to know that she cares about killing vampires, that she hates vampires. That any vampire that isn't good, she puts down. She puts down necromancers, she puts down anybody. Cecilia's a good character. She's a vigilant. You know, she worships Stendar, and she's pretty much a good character. You know, but she's a vampire, and I'm not even sure Marillia would be too prideful to go, "You are a filthy creature of Moonlight Ball." Marillia doesn't care about life. She's a Daedric prince. The only reason she cares about the undead is because they're magic from Moonlight Ball, her ultimate rival enemy of the Daedric princes. That's the only reason that she cares about the, hating the undead, because it's a creation of Moonlight Ball. And I really thought that it wasn't really proper that, you know, Marillia would gift her ultimate weapon for slaying the undead to a vampire, even if the vampire was good. So I thought it was time for Ragni to earn this, much later on after that dream, but she was close to it, so I thought, why not sleep when she's close to it and she's sleeping, she'll sense these certain things, and the sword is now hers, and she will now wield it into the fight against the vampires. Now, like I said in this, she's actually not an Ultima. She's actually an Ayleid, and I tried to slightly change her outfit here and there. I wanted to kind of not give her the typical high elven skin, because Ayleids are kind of like, they're kind of a weird thing. They look like Ultima. They are Heartland High Elves, they're called, or Wild Elves, or Ayleids, or something weird like that. I didn't want her to look like a carbon copy of a High Elf. I wanted her to have a sort of a bit more humanoid skin colour. Not so all humanoid, but also a lighter brown hair colour, because I kind of think that these guys are ancient elves. They separated from the Ultima and they moved into the Heartland and basically stopped worshipping their ancestors and started worshipping the Daedric princes. And so I wanted to make her look like a high elf, but not exactly like a high elf. Like, there was like, if you saw her and you had no idea what the Ayleids were, which no one does, you'd instantly think high elf. Easy. And she talks about her background. And if you played ESO, you'll kind of know who her father is. Yeah, you'll know who her dad is. He's in the ESO in the main quest line at the very end. And I thought it would be a kind of cool way, because when I was reading his story to make sure the background was all good, it kept saying that he kept moving his family to a different ruin, and then his family got moved out by different cultists and stuff like that. So I thought, boom, why not? And she's, yes, sure, Marillia hates undead, but she's not going to be against immortality. She might gift her servants immortality to spread her light around the world. You know, they're not undead, they're just living forever. So I thought, why not put a little nod in there, that story, and kind of add some ESO sort of lore, which is still Elder Scrolls lore to the game, and kind of just nods to that. I like ESO. There's a lot of good lore and a lot of good stuff in it, and so I thought, boom, she'd be perfect for it. Now, big kudos to JK, man. He made an absolutely phenomenal job basically making Fort Dawnguard feel secure, feeling proper. And this is nestled in between the mountain ranges of Skyrim and Morrowind, and this feels fortified. It feels protective. You know, now it looks absolutely fearsome, and I can't wait to see what he does for the vampire clans. That's where he's going to go next, so I better hold my stories before I go there. I'm amazed at what he's done, man. This is some seriously good work, and honestly, I don't know where I'm going to take the story after this. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I show off the civil war between the war in the west and the war in the east conclusion? Do I add some Cecilia stuff? Do I just do a chapter 37, you know, Winter's Coming, and it's not just based on one character, but it's based on all the characters so far, catching up with what they're doing, what's going on in their lives, and then the formation from autumn fall into the winter, and then boom, we've got some more story chapters to get into with, you know, the characters that we've got so far. So I'm still thinking about that, but this was a pretty cool story and I enjoyed it. It's my longest. I know we'll get nowhere near what I got in the last one, but man, I still enjoy making these stories. I don't do it for the views or this or that or money, because I don't earn money, and I won't earn money because this is Elder Scrolls music, not my music. And I just enjoy making these because it's a story, and I love being able to create a story, and people that, seeing something in your head and then creating it, that's awesome. And having people enjoy it and take inspiration from it and even do their own thing with it, that's ultimately what I like doing here. Anyway, this chapter's come to an end, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to get rid of this outro, and yeah, if you like it, give it a like, and if you've got any questions or any thoughts, anything like that, chuck it down a comment, and I'll have a conversation, of course, as I love communicating with the people of similar minds, stuff like that. And if you've got any friends, and they like storytelling, let them know, and chuck them over here, and we'll have a bigger and better community. Anyway, guys, catch you later. Look after yourselves, and peace out.